Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to our space here at Unity in Naperville. I miss all of you. My name is Rhonda. Woo! There's quite the echo in here. Welcome to the next phase in our reopening. We've moved back into the space to give you that feeling of home again, and we have reopening plans coming up, and you'll hear more about that soon. My name is Rhonda Pignato, and I'm going to be the service assistant today. If you're new to Unity in Naperville, I really want to thank you for coming by and checking us out. I really hope you find something special here that touches your heart, and if it does, please come back and join us again, and when we're here live, please come and join us live if you can. Our minister here is Reverend Kitty Benson, and she will be up shortly with the meditation and the prayers and our message. But we like to open our service with the gift of song. But before we do that, I want to do a big shout out to Kim-Char Meredith, who has stepped up and brought us the live stream music up until this point. So those of us who love this band's music could get a taste of it. Kind of, what do they call that when it's all stripped down? You do it, the stripped down version, yeah, I like that.
A taste of unity.
Unplugged, yes. So our band is awesome. They're called Highest Good. And so Kim said, hey guys, let's get the band back together again. And here they are. And I think that's all I have. So will you guys take us away?
We're ready to go.
Awesome.
Thank you, Rhonda. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning, everyone.
We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down.
Come on, Kevin, here we go.
We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. Singing a brand new song, we're lifting up a sound, we're bringing heaven down, down, down. Holy, 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 everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Holy, 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 everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Stars, we're bringing heaven down. We are being the light of God. We're shining like the stars. We're bringing heaven down, down, down. Come on now. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. I see the glory. Yes, I do. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. We are being the light of God. We're shining like the stars. We bringing heaven down, down, down. Come on now. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. I see the glory. Oh, yes, I do. Singing a brand new song, we're lifting up a sound, we're bringing heaven down. We are singing a brand new song, we're lifting up a sound, we're bringing heaven down, down, down. Come on now. Holy, 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 everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the at that downstairs in the basement. How are you doing out there? Which camera am I looking at, Parker? Everyone wave, say hi. I'm just giving myself a little chance to catch my breath. Honestly, have not worked out that hard in a very long time. It's not the same as the basement. I would scare the dog if I were doing that at home. So we spared Gucci all that jumping, but it's so good to be back here with Highest Good. Yes. Kevin, Mark, everybody, woof, woof. And I'll catch my breath while Kevin plays pretty guitar. You want to start us off, Kevin?
Sure.
Next song is Oh Ya Hey Ya, everyone. Lyrics should be right up there on the screen for you.
Flipping the page.
Yeah. I am listening to the music of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song God is singing. I will listen all day long. I will listen all day long. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. The Spirit all day long. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. 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 Oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Benson, my faith is strong, yeah. Keeps me dancing, my faith is strong. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. 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 Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's a silence in the stillness of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a light that is shining. Let us see it everywhere. Let us be it everywhere. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey, yeah.
Morning, everyone. Just wanted to make sure it was morning for you. Hi there, I'm Kitty Benson, minister here at Unity. So glad to be back in our space. Even though you're not here physically, I feel you here. And I'm just going to ask you to bring your spiritual energy and join it with my heart. And let's just close our eyes for a moment and connect with the Spirit of God within. Take a deep breath. We thank you, sweet Spirit, for this opportunity to bring our hearts, our minds, our very being together in the oneness of God. And in this perfect oneness, we trust that all the good of God, God's love, God's peace, God's infinite and abundant supply, God's life is present here and now, always and eternally. We thank you, God, for this power that dwells forever and always within us. So it is, and now we let it be. Amen. And I'll invite you from wherever you are to help me speak our invocation together. The words are up here on the screen. Together, divine love. No. Wow, look how long it's been. What is the part that we do right now? There is only one presence. Both are good. Divine love, only one presence, all together. All right, let's do what you're looking at. Together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. And you can stay seated.
You can stay seated, you can stay in your jammies, sipping your coffee. We're glad you're here. In the silence is the answer. In the silence is all I'm after. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still. My soul. In the presence is the answer. In the presence is all I'm after. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, be still, my soul. And I'm not waiting on divine. Divine is always here. I am waiting on my heart and mind to be open, to be clean. Be still, be still, and know. Be still, my soul. In silence is the answer. In the silence is all I'm after. Be still, be still, Be still, be still, my soul. And I'm not waiting on divine. Divine is always here. I am waiting on my heart and mind to be open, to be clean, to be still, be still, and know, be still, my soul. Be still, and know. Be still, my soul.
Thank you so much. It's so good to hear everybody back together again. And Jordan, on your first day here, I'm going to confuse you a little bit and ask you to go backwards one slide because I forgot to bless our kids. They're so invisible here. Can we go backwards to that children's blessing? There it is. You guys, wherever you are today, I am hoping that there's a child close to you in your life. And I know that hopefully between the confusion and the uncertainty that's going on in their lives right now, that they also feel a sense of peace and joy in summertime, as they should. And it will help if we can all bring our hearts and minds together right now and bless them. So I'm just going to ask you to speak these words with me up here on the screen together. Just picture a child that you love and picture every child on the planet in this moment as we say these words. Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the light of God shining in you. And so you are. Thank you for being that light. And lots of light happening around my house last night. Don't know if you guys had light around your house, but it turns out that since we're not having planned 4th of July fireworks, we're having unplanned 4th of July fireworks, and they're literally like coming from everybody's yard but mine. I just looked at, I go to bed early on Saturday nights, and invariably on 4th of July weekend, whenever I turn my light out on a Saturday night, that's when the fireworks start. And I looked out my window and literally catty corner over my backyard, there were these amazing, huge, up in the sky fireworks, all colors. Who would have guessed, yeah? And of course, people want to celebrate. I often wonder if they're really celebrating Independence Day, if they're just, they like to just light things up, cause a few explosions in their yard. How fun is that? And I'm thinking a lot about Independence Day today and just how our typical 4th of July celebration perhaps doesn't feel as joyful as it normally does. That, everything that's been going on for the last few months probably has us a little bit subdued. When you think about how we've lost our freedom to COVID-19, we're not able to get up and go wherever we want. That's probably top of mind right now. And especially as we are experiencing an awakening to those of us who were unconscious about bias in our country, we're starting to awaken to that and recognize the very limited freedoms that our friends of color have experienced for their entire life, for centuries before this. And so this experience of our Declaration of Independence takes on a new meaning for me today. When this was first written, the Americans, I don't know if they even had that name yet, colonists probably, were busy writing a declaration that declared that they would be free from the tyranny of the King of England. And they'd had it and the list is really long. You really ought to read that Declaration of Independence, because that list goes on for a really long time about all the things that they are not going to put up with anymore. But the part of it, of the Declaration, that many of us learn as children is right at the beginning. Up here on the screen, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Now, based on what's happening right now in our country, it probably feels overwhelming for many of you to see those truths be self-evident. It feels like that they're buried somewhere. We're not really finding them. And I applaud every single one of you who are trying to resurrect those truths and make them known in our country, make them known for every person on the planet, really. But I really, I feel like we have a long way to go. And this is a journey that we must not give up on, that we must not let it fade away over time, but that we stay awake and aware of these self-evident truths. Now, I want you to consider that before these truths can really be self-evident, we must awaken in our own consciousness. I am for taking a stand in the outer, but I am much more interested in first awakening to the inner. And that's why I'm calling this weekend Inner Dependence Day. It's about awakening to that spirit within us, because we can take outer action towards life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But until we have an inner dependence on the Spirit of God within us and really awaken to the truth of who we are, our outer actions may not accomplish everything that we're trying to get to. And something that I think Paul wrote to Timothy in his second letter, up here on the screen, let's take a look at this scripture. This is the one we're going to use today. He wrote, "God did not give us a spirit of fear, but rather a spirit of power and of love and self-discipline." Just take a look at that for a minute. We're not given a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. And I really feel like to let those truths that we talked about at the beginning be self-evident, we must let truth be evident in ourself. You hear the difference? We can let those truths be self-evident, but only when first we let the truth be evident in ourself. And what that means is revealing our spiritual self, revealing our unlimited divine potential. So this weekend, I want us to take a look at this idea that God did not give us a spirit of fear, which many of us have probably been feeling over the last several months. And if God did not give us a spirit of fear, where does it come from? We talk a little bit about our ego here at Unity. Just a little bit, yes? Hey, Parker, can you turn me down a little bit? I feel like I'm breathing hard or something here. It's maybe just in the room. But it's not God that gives us the spirit of fear. It's really what we call the ego and the tyranny of the ego that is busy continually. It's seeking to block anything that might harm it. It's seeking to control any circumstances or people that it feels is against it. And it's all being driven by that fear that is based on something important. We have to understand this. Jordan, can we take a look at this screen that talks about fear? It says, this is a definition. It's an emotion experienced in anticipation of some specific pain or danger. Fear is an uneasiness of the mind upon the thought of future evil likely to befall us. Now, when you look at all those words up there, can you see how many of them are not happening, but we're predicting them to happen? That we're imagining them to happen? That fear is tied deeply to our mind. The thoughts that we have held on so long, what we imagine will happen to us in the future, that they've become these solid beliefs. And even though they haven't occurred yet, because we are afraid of it and we are radiating that energy of fear, we end up resonating and therefore attracting those experiences in our life. That's where the fear comes from. It's not ingrained in us. It's something that we develop by the way that we're looking at our life. Fear is dominating, and as long as fear is dominating, we cannot pursue our life, liberty, and happiness. Because we are not in alignment with life, liberty, and happiness. We're in alignment with not enough, and I'm in trouble. I bet that I could ask each one of you to just pause for a minute and go inside, and you could probably name at least one thing that you are afraid of in your life right now. I want you to listen to the wisdom of Mark Twain up here on the screen. He said, "I'm an old man, and I've known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened." How sad is that? That our fear hangs on, and it feels like we're living a life of trouble, when in reality, they're not actually happening to us. We're just predicting them. But God did not give us that spirit of fear. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but rather a spirit of power. You and I were made in the image and likeness of God, not as human beings with arms and legs. God is spirit. So when we are made in God's image and likeness, he's talking about our spirit is made in the image and likeness of God. And that spirit of God is power-filled. You know, when we talk about that presence of God as power, so many of us get confused by that and say, so if God is all-powerful, why isn't God healing all these problems in the world? But that's not how we talk about God as power in unity. It's not God as a powerful being, or a being that's wielding power, or a God that is controlling us or judging us with its power. But rather, it is the power itself that God is. Let me say that again. It is the power itself that God is. That animating force in the universe that allows all things to be, the very nature of our existence is made of power, and that power is made out of God. That power to exist, the energy to do, that all dwells within us. So we are power-filled beings. That energy of power within us has the ability to change our life. And it's not about controlling our circumstances with power. It's not about controlling other people that we don't like with our power. It's about changing and controlling our thoughts with our power, our fears, our beliefs, our emotions with our power. That is what we mean when we say that we have a spirit of power, the ability to choose what's going on in our mind. Now, most of our circumstances that show up in life, we would say, I didn't do that, I didn't create that, I didn't want that, no, I wasn't even thinking about that. And that's possible that you may not have been thinking about it consciously. But between our own subconscious mind and everything we stored in it, plus the collective consciousness that we all share in, things are going to show up that we do not want in our life, because we're unconscious most of the time. And this is when it's important for us to wake up and realize I have the power to choose my thoughts and how I respond to life. It's like playing catch. You know, since we're not in the baseball season yet, I figured a few of you were feeling a little sad right now because you weren't being able to go to the games. So I thought I'd give you a little demonstration today. And I am a fantastic catcher. I am a fantastic catcher. Just watch. I'm going to catch everything that I want to catch here in this demonstration. But let's just equate this little demonstration where when something is coming at us that we really want, but we never believe that we can get it, it's going to go way beyond my reach. There's no way that I'm going to get a hold of that. Because my power, my spiritual power is not active in the moment. I've been holding on to these ideas that I don't really deserve that. So I am therefore on the wrong wavelength to catching that that desire that's coming towards me. Sometimes that desire is, or a thought, a circumstance or something is coming towards me, and I realize, you know what? This is not something that I want. So as I see it coming towards me, I just step out of the way. I don't have to tape that. I don't have to catch it. As long as I can see, oh, that's a criticism that's coming from somebody who doesn't like me, I could either catch it and hold on to it, or I could just get out of its way. Can you see the power that we have within us? Okay, here's another one. I've been really looking forward to this. Look, I got it. I'm so excited. My good is here. It's just exactly what I was looking forward to. And that is when we're in alignment with it, when we agree that we deserve it, when we know that the Spirit of God is abundantly giving of itself, then we see it coming in our mind's eye and we reach for it and we hold it and we receive it with gratitude. That's one way that we can use our spirit of power. But there's another way that we can use it. If something, shows up accidentally and we're not really paying attention, it's like, I didn't want this. Well, guess what? You don't have to hold on to it. Your spirit of power can say, not mine. I choose, you know what? That has no power over me. That doesn't belong to me. I'm not going to even look at it. I'm going to move on. On the other hand, we can catch something, and it's one of those moments where we've really been wanting this, and we've been wanting it because we're afraid that we'll never see it again. Once we get it, it's like, okay, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to hold on really tight. I'm not going to share it with anyone. I'm going to just hoard it right here and make sure that I can juice it for all that it's worth. And that problem is that we're not sharing the good with others. And not only that, we're not able to receive any more good because, look, my hands are full. But my spirit of power can wake up in that moment and realize, look, good comes all the time. I'll just receive as it comes. Right now, I've used what I need to use, and I'm going to throw this out into the world somewhere where it can do some more good. That's pretty good. I didn't even look at you, right? Good job, Rhonda. And a lot of the time right now, based on everything that's going on, many of us are just kind of curled up in fear, hoping that it won't hurt too much when it lands on us. Thank you, trouble. Thank you, trouble. But that's the moment when we're missing our choice point. We have options when things like that are flying at us. But so often we're so focused on the pain itself and what it will do to us and what it will deprive us of that it seems to just linger here in our life. We cannot pursue life, liberty, and happiness if we are focused on that which can harm us in our life. So God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power. Up here on the screen, can we take a look at this affirmation? Let's say this together. I have control over my thoughts and feelings and guide them with truth. That's how it works, to be awake to our opportunities, to be aware of the source of our good that's everywhere present, and then consciously choosing our thoughts. Something that I appreciated what Deepak Chopra wrote. Up here, there's a quote from him. It says, "The power asleep in all of us doesn't awaken until we call it." We have to know that we have this spirit of power and use it on purpose. And then Charles Fillmore, who's a co-founder of Unity, he said, "The thinking faculty in you makes you a free agent because it is your creative center. In and through this one power, you establish your consciousness, you build your world." That's how powerful the spirit of power is. It builds our world. The key is to use it consciously. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power. God has also given us a spirit of love. And there is a lot of wonderful qualities about the spirit of love. One of them is that it's a magnet for love. It's a magnet for good. So when we can choose to love, we will actually draw more love to us, draw more good to us. I really am starting to realize that when we find ourselves in difficult situations with difficult people, that it is our love that is calling us to that person. Because whether we can see it or not, they actually have the spirit of love within them as well. Can you see the love in them and the love in you being drawn together so that it may flourish between us? Love is seeking love. And so even though you walk into a situation and it doesn't look very loving, can you trust that the spirit of love within you, which is God seeing good in this person, God seeing good in circumstances, God being the good in all circumstances, if you can do that, it will call the love forth from someone else. It will magnetize you to whatever it is you're seeking. Good, bad, or indifferent, love will always call for love. Now, when you walk into a relationship with judgment, you're probably going to meet judgment. So you're always being given this opportunity. Will I respond from a spirit of judgment and fear, or am I coming in here from a spirit of love? Because that's where our power really is. If we bring love, it has the ability to draw it out in another. Linda Martella-Whitsitt is the director of Silent Unity at our worldwide headquarters of Unity. And she wrote in her book, Divine Audacity, the magnetizing power of love is our true nature in which we can rightly claim, I am love. Would you say that with me? I am love. The good news about the law of attraction is that love, the great magnet, is what pulls us in every circumstance, good or bad. Situations are not being sent our way by some other source. We, as love, go into all circumstances. We attract ourselves into the details of our life for love. The light of love wants to shine, to heal, to transform, to unify, and to harmonize. Did you know that? Did you know that's what was going on within you? Every time you find yourself balled up in knots in a spirit of fear or hate or judgment about someone else, can you stop and say, there's also a spirit of love in me. There's also a spirit of love in them. And I know that if I am here and choose to accept this person as they are, to allow them to be who they are, that I will find that love. And hopefully they will find that in me. But the good news is, whether they show love to you in that moment or not, you will continue to know love and it will set you free. That is the power of our spirit of love. Years ago when I lived in California, I had a good friend, a male friend. We were kind of a group of people, and he started dating someone new. And so he would bring this woman into the group, parties that we would have together. And I discovered early on that I really did not like this woman. She was judgmental, and she was kind of defensive. She kind of had a chip on her shoulder, and you could barely just look at her sideways and she'd accuse you of something. And I thought, this is really weird, and I would really prefer not to be with you. But what that ended up doing is driving a wedge between me and my friends. So it was hard to be with him because there she was. So this was an opportunity for me to be the spirit of love, to bring love into the situation. And there was a time where the three of us were going to meet, and she got there first. And I just was in a mood to be love. I don't think I came in consciously that way, but there was just something that awakened in me in the moment when I saw it was just going to be her and I, that I thought, here's my chance. I'm just going to bring the spirit of love into this. And one of the things that she had done kind of regularly was criticize the guy that she was in this relationship with. And I thought, okay, that's just weird. And so I would stand up for him and talk about his good points. Well, she started doing that again, just the two of us. And I just paused for a moment, and then I said, I can see that. I understand that. You should have seen the walls come down. She had found love. She had found acceptance for who she was. She was able to be who she was. And in that, we connected. We felt that feeling of love between us. And from that moment on, I was her best friend. And I was able to be in relationship with her without that need to judge or resist. And things just got easier and easier for the time that I lived there. We have the opportunity to awaken to love. And I want to share with you what Charles Fillmore wrote about it from his book, The Revealing Word. He said, divine love loves for the sake of loving. It sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good. And by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and all things. Can we choose with our power, our spiritual power, choose thoughts of love? We're combining those spirits of power and love together, being conscious about it, and choosing love to come forth in us, seeking it in others. I promise you that you will win every time. No matter what you see in the outer, you will be aligned with love, and you will know the power of it. God's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of self-discipline. And self-discipline is like the third leg on this stool, because power and love could not be if we don't also exercise our spirit of self-discipline. Sometimes when I say even those words, self-discipline, I just go, ugh. This is going to require something of me that I probably don't want to do. But I had a spiritual mentor once who said that we as human beings are evolving, and we're roughly around the teenage years as a species, especially in our awakening to spirit. And I don't have kids, but I was a teen. And I know that when I was a teen, I was big on my independence, but I was weak on acknowledging or being prepared for or being responsible for the consequences of my independence. And when I was a teen, I was big on pleasure and doing everything that was fun and acquisition, getting everything that made me happy, but I was weak on actually doing the hard thing when the time came for it. That's how I kind of see us as human beings right now. And yet, it's our opportunity to use that power of self-discipline that we have been given, which in Unity we refer to as our power of will. Just consider that you are the CEO of your life. You get to make the decisions about what you will do and who you will see and how you will behave and what you will think. And the spirit of self-discipline is meant to discipline yourself to align with your higher self within you. That's the goal of self-discipline. And something that I just put together for this up here on the screen as an affirmation is, I choose to think, act, and respond to life in alignment with spiritual truth. That's what our power of self-discipline is. Let's say that together. I choose to think, act, and respond to life in alignment with spiritual truth. So we're making decisions all day, every day, but how many of them are decisions that are aligned with the will of God? And trust me, the will of God is not something that is against you. It's actually for you and your highest and best. But when we use our power of self-discipline to make choices and take actions that are aligned with spirit, that's when we find our life, liberty, and happiness. Because we are in the same zone. We have made the hard choices, and we are doing that which the ego usually pushes back against, that feels like it's too much work or it threatens our well-being. But if we do it anyway, the good shows up. Something that Albert Gray wrote up here on the screen. The secret of success of every person who's been successful lies in the fact that they formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. That's what self-discipline is about. Sometimes your ego may not like to do it, but guess what? We didn't come here to serve the ego. We came here for inner dependence. We came here to awaken to the spirit within us that is our love and our life energy and our joy and our wisdom and our abundant supply. And if we don't bring forth that spirit of power and use it to consciously direct our thoughts in a way that is focused on God, then the life that we're seeking is going to be limited. We're going to experience limited beliefs and fearful thoughts. If we don't bring forth that spirit of love, that we have been given, then the liberty that we're seeking is going to be restricted. It's going to be selfish, really. That's the kind of love that we're going to experience if it's not coming from our true divine spirit of love. If we don't bring forth the spirit of self-discipline, then the happiness that we're seeking is going to be fleeting. It's going to be meaningless. So I'm just going to ask you today to remember that your power, your love, your self-discipline that is inherent in the spirit that you are, that is what will lift you up above your fears, above your limitations, and connect you to everything that your heart desires. But the truth of that has to become evident in our self first before we can go out and experience it in the outer. Inner dependence on God first makes way for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let's take a moment in prayer. Loving spirit of power, spirit of love, spirit of will and self-discipline, we give thanks that we are fully enabled and empowered to be the fullness of God. We thank you, God, that as we move through this holiday weekend and on and into next week and next month and next year and the rest of our lives, we carry this truth within us that we have not been given a spirit of fear. Our spirit is of power. We choose thoughts of life, of joy, of God. Our spirit is of love, where we see the divine in every being. Our spirit is of self-discipline, where we are awake to our choices and we make them aligned with God's good. This is the truth of our being. Now we let it be. Amen. Let's take some time in the quiet and just feel if we can connect. If you want to just close your eyes and come into an inner dependence for a few moments. No matter what we're seeing with our eyes, no matter the untruths that are being spoken of in the world, on the news, no matter the sadness and the hurt that we see perpetrated, at the same time, I remember that God's power and love are present. I am power-filled. I choose thoughts of freedom for all. I am power-filled. I choose thoughts of abundant good, of worthiness, of wisdom for all beings. I am power-filled. I choose thoughts of healing life in every body, of vibrant renewal in every cell. Of balance and strength. I choose thoughts of love. Desiring the good for all beings on the planet. As I see a difference, I celebrate our diversity. As I see a need to be filled, I choose to take steps, to take action where it is mine to do. I choose my thoughts wisely, consciously, peacefully. And give thanks. The spirit of life and liberty and happiness is present here and now for all beings. I am interdependent on the infinite, eternal goodness of God. And my outer life reflects the same. This is the truth of God in me, and now I allow it to be. Amen.
In all the times over the years I've led the service, I've never worn a t-shirt. Something this morning called me to put on this t-shirt, and I was thinking about it like, no, I should be more dressy, I should wear something. And I unconsciously chose Love Today.
Wonderful.
And it just moves me when those moments come when you feel very aligned with spirit, and that spirit of love just jumped out at me today. So thank you so much, Reverend Kim.
Thanks for
I
being
love
awake.
each and every person in this room, and we all send love out to all of you. And I hope that you can feel the love that comes from Reverend Kitty, from me, from the band, from all of us. And love is the platform from which we ask you to tap into when you decide to support your spiritual community. Now is the time in the service where we share in our tithes and our love offerings. And there is a donate button there on Facebook or on the live stream page where you can donate. You can mail in your donations. We really appreciate everything that you give to us. And we ask that you give it in the spirit of love as well. And to help us along with that, please help me as we bless the offering with our blessing. The words are on the screen. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you so much. So we're going to quickly go over our announcements for the week, and there are a lot of them because we always have so much going on here at Unity in Naperville. If you didn't join us last week when the board was online for our online meeting, they outlined a lot of the plans that we have to phase through our reopening. They're all tentative, depending on what comes out, publicly through the government, through the community. So we ask that you go to unityinnaperville.org. There is a reopening plan posted there, as well as a survey. So if you didn't get that survey via an email, please go there and respond to the survey so that your Unity community and the board knows where you stand, how you feel, and what you'd be willing to do. They are also looking for help as we reopen to help to do certain things within the building. So if you're willing to do any of those things listed there, please email admin@unityinnaperville.org and express your willingness to help. Next, we have been doing this for months now, right, Kim-Char?
Yes, we have.
It's been so much fun that hopefully we'll keep doing it regardless of whether we're back in this building or not. And it's called Lunch Together Online. It's if you go to our unitycommunityconnect.com and you click on the Zoom link, you can join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 1. You don't have to be there the whole time. You can pop in to say hi. You can go for half the meeting, the full meeting. We always have fun. We always talk and we just catch up, and it's really a wonderful way to socialize virtually.
And every once in a while, Rhonda, you've even brought your work with you.
I did?
She takes a little break.
Oh, I
from
take
her-
little breaks,
her
yeah.
lawyerly deeds.
Yeah. This week I showed up my new trampoline. What? I bought a Reba. Oh, you weren't there. Never mind. That's a whole other story. You show up and you'll find out what I'm talking about. And then, so that's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And on Wednesdays from noon to 12:30, we have something called Be Inspire, Inspire Others, where people come online on the Zoom link that is in Unity Community Connect, and you share thoughts that you got from the Sunday message, and it's all about bringing that message into the middle of the week to keep the message of love alive. Well, this love for this week, but love is good every week. And next, we have something that we've been doing for a few years now. A little over a year now. It's called Courageous Writers. Next week, or this week, Saturday, it's going to be from 10 a.m. till noon. That also is a Zoom meeting that you can join on Unity Community Connect. And it's for anyone who wants to try to tap into their creativity through writing. Almost none of us are professionals at writing. I never wrote really much of anything before I joined. And you really tap into your creativity, your creative juices, whatever that might be, whether it be more poetic, more storytelling, whatever it is. It's just fun. Come check us out. What do you got to lose? It's a lot of fun. We really share some really great stuff. Next, I'd like to talk about our Unity in Naperville's healing service. This week, it's not this week. This would be next week, right? Wednesday, July 15th at 7 p.m. We are now live streaming these healing services, and this week it will be hosted by Reverend Christina Garza and our Sharon Jubsky. So please join us for that, for healing messages, and there will be a way, I believe, for you to submit prayer@unityinnaperville.org. So please write that down, prayer@unityinnaperville.org. Send your prayer requests right now, and they will, or anytime within this next week, they'll bring them into the healing service, and they will pray for your prayer requests. Next is something new, which I'm really excited about. It's a way to do an online retreat with Unity in Naperville. It's called
Unity Village.
Unity Village. I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying in Naperville. Unity Village. So it says they're going to invite you into their sacred spaces, including the Peace Chapel and the Myrtle Fillmore
Grove.
Grove. It's blocked out there. Thank you. And it's all just for a donation, and that's going to be July 17th and July 18th. On July 17th is just a Friday. It's going to go from 7 to 8:30, and then on Saturday it's going to go from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. If you want to sign up, go to unity.org. So it's Unity is putting this on. Unity, the main Unity, not Unity Naperville, but Unity out there. So go and sign up for this retreat. And then the 12 Per Hour Project, which Kim-Char Meredith has been working on, that is now closed, right?
Submissions are now closed. Thank you, everyone who sent your artwork in, your writings, photography. There's a lot of stuff.
There is a lot of stuff, and as they sort and gather through and put it all together, we're looking for a launch of that project sometime in 2021. So that'll be a lot of fun. And starting today is something called Prayer on Call. When we meet in person, our prayer chaplains are available for confidential prayer here. And obviously, since we're not in the space yet, we still want to offer that as an option. Many people need some private prayer or want some private prayer. So what we're asking today, before 12:30 p.m., to email your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org and mention Prayer on Call, or POC for short. And a prayer chaplain will call you by 1 p.m. and you can do some confidential prayer together. Today we're going to continue the tradition of Reverend Kitty taking your questions after the service. So up on the screen should be a phone number where you can text her questions or comments that you would like her to go over, or you can put them right in the Facebook comment section, and they will be read off, and they will address whatever your concerns or your questions are as soon as the service ends here on the live stream. And finally, we do not want to forget about our July babies. It is not only the birth of America, it is the birth of many of you out there. So, go ahead, Kevin.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you.
For more details on all of our announcements, please go to the calendar at unityinnaperville.org. And now is it time for the closing song? Right? What are we singing, guys?
Let there be
Let there be peace on earth.
Yes. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Woohoo! Highest Good is back in the house. We are glad. Okay, my loves, up here on the screen is our closing affirmation for today. Let's just celebrate those beautiful colors about the truth of our being, and let's say these words together. Divine love through me harmonizes my thoughts, words, and actions with God's highest good. That is your beautiful freedom as we remember that interdependence on God.